Hello, everybody. We are starting our first project. It's called If Picasso Drew a Superhero. And I mentioned this the other day in our meeting. You are going to take any superhero that you would like and you are going to draw it as if Picasso drew it. The supplies that you're going to need is some kind of paper to put this project on. If we were in class, I would give you the big size drawing paper just to give you an idea, but you're going to have to use whatever you have on hand. Again, you can always go to a paper bag. This project, with the paper bag being a brown color, it doesn't show up as much, but you could use it as a last resort. Of course, a pencil to draw. And in this project, it is a painting class that we would do with tempera paint. I doubt that most of you have paint like that. I would not have it in my house, so you may color it any way you would like. Colored pencils, markers, crayons. If you have nothing, then you are just going to be able to do the project in pencil, and then you'll have to explain that to me in your artist statement at the end of the project. So whenever I say paint throughout this, I'm just going to say paint, but you know what I mean when I say it. Before we get started on the actual project, I want to talk about Picasso. Picasso was a Spanish painter, and he was the one that started and was most involved with what we call Cubism in art. And what that means, if you look at this first picture, he would take or draw and then paint a realistic picture like a person, and then he would fragment it and make it look he would take the fragment pieces and put it back together and make it look a little abstract. So you can tell this is a woman, but she doesn't look exactly like what a normal person would look. If you look at her, you can see multiple faces in the same picture. So it's like he was drawing it or painting it, looking at the same object from one or two or three different views. If you look straight on, you could see two eyes looking right at you. You can also look at it like this. I'm going to kind of outline it. Like here's one of the faces right here, and she's looking off to your right, and this would be the front of her face. Here's her nose and her mouth right here. Okay, and then if you look, there's another person right here that's a side view, and here's this person's nose and her mouth, and then the other part of the face is cut off by the front of this one. So I don't know if you can see that. So really you can see three different views in this one painting. Again, if you look at her hands, it doesn't exactly look like what a hand looks like. And so these are the kinds of things that we're thinking about as we're doing our superhero, things that you could do your superhero to give it this cubism, look of cubism, like Picasso would do. Here is another one. You can see here it looks like a hat, right? And a person's eye right here looking straight at us. And then right here is another person with her hair looking off to the left. And this hair even looks like it could be shared with the person back here. Again, hands a little bit distorted. So as you're looking at this, I want you to think of the superhero that you have in mind and what you could do to it, like Picasso would do. And here is another one. When I look at this, if I really look at it, here's a hat. This could be a person looking straight at us. I see an eye here and an eye here. But I also see a side view right here. Here's a mouth. Okay? And then here's another one right here. So we're taking our picture, we're fragmenting it, meaning we're taking it apart, and then we're putting it back together so that we can see more than one view at the same time. This is just an example that I found on the internet. And because I realize you can Google just like I can to get examples, which is fine, but I would like you to come up with your own idea of it. So if you wanted to do Superman, that's great, but don't just do an eye and an eye. Change it up a little bit. Here's one of Spider-Man. I'm not very good at my superheroes. I can't remember this guy's name. The rest of them that I'm showing you, this is actual student work that has been turned in. And so I wanted to share it with you. You can see right here, we have one face looking straight on, and here's another one they just added looking off to the right. And then the background. Well, I'd like you to do something in your background. If you're not painting though, it is very time consuming to color a background. So be mindful of that. I don't want you to sit there and color every little section of your paper in. Okay, now we're into the other two. The other ones I showed you was not student artwork. This one is right here. This is work that was actually done in class. I'm going to try and move my screen over just a little bit. There we go. So here we have Superman. You can see he's a little bit distorted. And here are two faces in here. One going straight on and one looking off to the right. Wonder Woman just mixed up her face a little bit. But you can still tell who it is. It's just been changed. Here are a couple more. I just thought were pretty amazing. I really like the face on this Wonder Woman because she's upside down, and you can just really see it's more than being upside down. It's also fragmented really well. And then a Spider-Man. That's all the ones that I had here. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can come up with some more examples and show you. I just went into my Google Photos, and these are photos from projects that were done first semester. I'm just going to quickly go through them. I'm not saying they're wonderful or they are wonderful. You could just use, they're just examples of what different people did. If looking at them gives you sometimes looking at stuff is helpful, but then sometimes it gives you too much. Really like this one because I can definitely see Wonder Woman looking straight at me. But also there's a face over here that is upside down, half of it looking up, if you can see it. Like this is the nose right here. So it looks like a nose and it looks like an ear. So you can share different parts of the face. Here's another one looking straight at you, and then here's a profile looking off to the left. Just added an extra eye. Somebody insisted on doing Kermit the Frog. We had a big discussion on whether that was a superhero or not. So, and I know somebody asked me the other day if they could make up their own superhero. That's fine. It's just that we won't recognize it as much when we do it. Okay, so these are the examples that I have to give you. When you're ready to get started on the project, I would suggest Googling doing a search on your favorite superhero that you would like to do, and you can use that as a reference because when you are drawing it, you want people to still be able to recognize what superhero that is, whether it's the Hulk or Batman, Wonder Woman, whoever you choose, and then you have to decide what you're going to do to Picasso it up a little bit, like Picasso would do, and then you want to refer to it for your painting and coloring too, because I would go ahead and paint or color just like it normally would. Like I wouldn't make the Hulk purple. Well, his pants are purple, but like his body, unless it's something you want to do. You're the artist. I leave it up to you. In this project, I have uploaded. I tried to do it. Hopefully, you can understand it. It's my first try. One thing I have in there is an assignment where you just need to acknowledge that you have received this project. It doesn't mean you've started it. It doesn't mean It's just saying, yes, Mrs. Kowalski, I see the project. And that is an assignment, just so I know it's your way of checking in with me, so I know that you're out there. Then you're going to do and that is due by Friday. And all you're saying is, yes, I have it. I see it, but I haven't looked at it. I see it and I looked at it, or I've started already. And then you turn that in to me. That is due by this Friday. This project I'm going to do next Thursday. That way it gives you a chance for me to talk to you at our next meeting that we have on Tuesday. And then when you turn your project in, you will take a picture of it and you will turn it into Google Classroom. There's also an artist statement, and that's where I want you to write about your project. An artist statement is something you would say if you were standing next to a person saying, look at my project, and you wanted to tell about it. So you can write whatever you want about it. Please give me more than 1 or 2 sentences. This is also the time, if you are turning in something that is not finished, to explain why. It is better to turn in something partially done with an explanation than to completely ignore it. Okay? Just to give you that information. Again, if you have any questions at any time, you can email me and I will email you right back. You do not have to wait till my office hours on Friday. So I hope your week is off to a great start, and I will see you on Tuesday.